Well, hello again, everyone. Fellow bubbleheads, this is Bob Martin, the RCSubGuy. That's who I am. And I'm here with him.
Jason.
And him. And welcome to our weekly update video. We're going to show you what we do here at the dry docks, all the projects that we got going, our successes, our failures, opportunities, hopefully a lot more successes than failures. But it doesn't usually work out that way. But regardless, we're going to share that all with you over the course of this video. Let's get started. All right, first and foremost, if you've been following my channel, you'll have seen I ended last week's video talking about a very special gentleman by the name of Don Meadows. He's a customer and friend of mine. Actually hooked me up with a tour of the USS Greenville, which was pretty awesome a while ago. But Don is on hard times right now. He's been diagnosed with terminal illness, suffered on some financial challenges. And so we are trying to help him out as much as possible. And we're going to do that in a couple of ways. This is the business end of a 164 scale US Balao class submarine. We're charging up the batteries. This got returned to us by a gentleman out of Dallas, and there was lots of drama behind that. Again, you guys have all seen this. Cool boat. Basically, everything appears to be completely functional. We're going to top up the batteries, retrim it, and it'll be ready to go. And Jason is working on repairing just a couple of little shipping is not even damage, shipping tweakageness,
loose,
yeah, minor stuff, but a super cool boat. Lots of awesome details on that thing. This is going to Don, pro bono, free of charge, thanks to his friends here at the Nautilus Dry Docks. Hopefully we can get this all tested, get it boxed up tomorrow and shipped out to him. That is number one. And number two, I just set up a GoFundMe page. We've got a lot of people who are looking to help Don out. He's an ex-submariner. He did an awesome job helping out other ex-submariners get mementos of their time in the submarine service by providing them very, very cheap. He was way undercharging for his time and talent. Models of the boats that they served on. He's also a really talented artist. He would create things like custom ballpoint pens made from wood, salvaged from real submarines, replica dolphins, a whole bunch of really awesome stuff. A generous guy, donated his time to a dino venture where he was teaching kids, about dinosaurs and all sorts of really cool things. He's a great guy. Certainly deserves this. I set up a GoFundMe page. I'm going to put the link in the description below. If you got a few extra dollars at this time where we should all be giving thanks for everything that we've been given in life, please head over there, give generously, and we're going to make sure that he gets that right before Christmas. All right, what do we got going on at station number 3?
We are repairing this cylinder. It was said to have leaks, and so far off our testing, we found that it's kind of annoying to get these studs in with the wires, so I am kind of taking apart the studs, and we're going to be permanently mounting them so that we can just kind of insert the caps without having to deal with all of the wires getting in the way.
It's like an upgrade, kind of.
Yes.
Makes life easier.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, we got to figure out why it's leaking. The guy, I don't know why he can't figure out. Here's the whole situation with that. You got the guy that bought all this stuff, gave it to the guy that's building it for him. That guy can't figure out why everything is leaking, and so he sent it back to us. But the cylinders all come with a test hose, and the idea is you blow in the test hose, and it pressurizes up the cylinder, and if there is a weak area, the air will come out, and you can look precisely exactly where the leak is occurring, and you can address it. So I don't know why that was not able to have been done in California, but now it's here, and we've got to do it. And this was shipped to us in pieces too, by the way. It was completely disassembled.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're gonna put this all back together again, test it, and get it out. All right, so we got this return cylinder, and we're gonna go ahead and put it in the water and show why we have a test hose. So it looks like what would that be? The starboard drive shaft seal is leaking. So we got to pop off the gearbox, take a look at the seal, go from there. So Logan did a full function test. Oh, we got to put the cap back on charger. Yeah, no floody. We don't need that drama. Everything is working except we can't hear the water pump going. Now, if I remember correctly, last time we had this out, we couldn't hear it either, so I'm not overly worried about it yet, but we're going to go ahead and throw it in the water, and we're going to check and see if it is. But we know everything else is working. All of the dive planes are working, the rudders are working, the bower tracks are working, everything is good. So really it's trim and double checking the ballast. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna haul that out. And I've been working on Marlin here. Now these are the new control units. This is a reversing relay switch. Got off Amazon. They're pretty slick units. These would be really cool for ballast systems, which we're using it for, but I mean like a more function-ridden ballast system. I have this one hooked up, and only the idea is you move in one direction and this relay opens, and then you move it in the other one and this one opens, and that controls the two different directions of your water pump. But the problem is only this relay is working, that one is not. This is junk. It is non-functional and will need to be removed. Fortunately, I ordered 2. And I tested this on the bench. It's working perfectly, so I just got to swap the wires around. Let's do it. I got the new relay module in place. Just want to show you how awesome it works. Power on the cylinder. And watch the red lights and listen to the pump. 1, 2. We are in business, people. Just gotta find a little home for this, tidy up the wires, make sure it all looks good, put it back together, throw it in the boat, get it in the water, and we're done. And we're done. Get this out of here, put it in the box, ship it out to the customer. I never finished my thought on this unit. Now you'll see, obviously, aside from plugging into the pump, we got more wires. And these are limit switches. So the idea is this is like a reversing switch, so you can actually use it to control a brush motor, and it's got built-in limit switches. So if you're building things like, oh, I don't know, breathers on a Nautilus or an Iris, you could set up these endpoint switches, and it'll automatically stop the motor when it reaches the end. But if you were building a ballast tank, you could, for example, put one in the top of the ballast tank, one in the bottom of the ballast tank with a float that would push on them, and you would have the ability to automatically stop the pump when it's full and automatically stop the pump when it's empty. I'll put the link down below. So we're out at the top secret test facility with the Gato, and we're pre-going. We were ready to drop it in, but I noticed something. There's something majorly wrong with this scenario. What's wrong with this scenario? There's about 20 really, really important things.
I'm not sure. Oh, the bolts are off. Well, that might do it.
So I got the cylinder mounted in the Marlin again. Boy, that's a nice setup. The only thing I really, really, really don't like about this whole thing is the way that these linkages connect. This has to be actually like unbolted, and the linkage slid out, and that's the same in the back area here. So a quick disconnect would certainly be a lot more convenient, but not necessary, I guess. Here's the challenge I find with this whole scenario here. You see that gigantic arm? There's probably a 1-inch arm on there. And the challenge that I can see with this whole thing is that the throw on the forward dive planes is exceptionally small. So I don't think that the forward dive planes are going to do a lot at all. Right now I've got the stern planes on the rotary dial and the forward planes on the stick, which is the way I would normally set a boat up. Might want to switch it back. New owner might want to switch it back and just basically drive the boat with the stern planes, or rig up a funky, new thing here. You could maybe even move that hole up much, much closer to the top, and that would give you more throw on the front there. But at any rate, that's beyond the scope of what we're doing here right now. I'm just going to go ahead, torquelize this, and put the top on it. And, well, no, I'm not. I'm going to grab the radio, and we're going to do a little function test. All right, here we go. Let's just see. You know what? Let me grab one of these dive planes here just to show you guys what that is actually going to look like. It's probably 10 degrees of throw. Should be triple that. All right, it's fine. There we go. Rudder, dive planes, throttle. Nice. I'm going to tighten this up too. This is a little loose. You see that? We'll just loosen that, tighten it up a little bit. And the pumpage. 1. We did it! All right. Tighten. Put on. Throw in the water. All right. As you can see, we've got Marlin back out here. We're going to throw this in, check the functions first, and then we're going to get to the Vallejo. So let's see if our repairs worked. Now I'm not sure with the revised setup in there which one dives and which one surfaces. So
still these back too.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. Try. I don't know. I guess try the red one.
This is the red one.
No, it's bubbling. Other way.
The other one. And down.
Yep, she's going down. She's going down. Yeah. That's what we want. All right, let's throw it in the big pool. And I'm just gonna leave the ballast tank full. And remember that. I'm gonna dive this to the right. All right, everybody remember that? Dive to the right. All right, got to fight my jets as usual. All right, away we go. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think we need a little bit of weight in the back. All right, let's try that. Responds nice. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah, get some video of this. This is super cool boat on the surface. So that was actually pretty epic. We got the trim dialed in just about perfect. It could probably be tweaked another 2% or something like that. With additional throw on the forward dive planes, this thing is going to be so docile in the water. I think even as it is right now, it's absolutely drivable, but increase that throw on the forward dive planes and it's going to be a rock solid boat. It worked really, really good. So this one's down. It's time to move on to the Balao. All right, Balao time. Let's see what happens. All right, so right now we're just going to be testing the ballast functions. We should actually be able to test both surfaced and submerged trim in theory, even if the pump's not working. So we can at least get that much done. Let's go ahead and dive it. I believe it's the blue switch. So now, try going the other way. Yep. Oh, it is working. I can see the bubbles in the ballast tank. Thank God. Thank God. All right, let's dive. See what happens. She just went. So with these flat-topped boats, these flat-decked boats, you get a lot of surface tension on that deck, and sometimes it's hard to break that surface tension. Helps a lot if you're underway and the water will wash up over it. So in theory, if I were to tap this right now, it'll probably dive. Although we're missing a lot of weight, so maybe it won't. Yeah, okay, so all of the weights that got shaken free, we need to re-add again. So the open areas are in the front. Let's go front and then back here. I want to get it right here. About ½ an inch from the top of the conning tower. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's it. That's it. Okay.
Coming up.
Have a fun
I
time.
can just lift it and all the water will fall out. We might as well save the batteries.
Okay.
So the weights have been placed. They're not secured. They're in place. So we got to be careful this thing doesn't nose down on us. But in theory, our trim is back to where it needed to be. Now while this settles, and the tank is still full, by the way. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby. And give it a little shake. There we go. So I want to make a point, not that I necessarily want to beat this dead horse deader. This took us 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That's all the guy would have had to have done in Dallas to have a fully functional, fully ready to go boat. Charge the batteries, straighten the gun, glue the top, and put the weights in. Maybe 20 minutes. But it is what it is. This is going to find itself a new home, and it'll be a better one, I think. Let's bring it up. We are now testing the brand new easy driver for our X-Craft. Turned out really cool. I think we're good. Nice. All right, we'll bring it back in, power up the radio, make sure everything that moves, and
What doesn't move, what doesn't.
yes. And here it is, in place. I think this shaft is gonna line up pretty nice. I just need to figure out where exactly this needs to fit. I think Logan designed it like this, so it fits with the end cap on this thing, majigger. I'm gonna switch this side, this linkage to the other side, so it'll line up perfectly with this one that we've got connected. And that is it. Literally, that is it. It is Tuesday morning. Logan came in, helped me pack up Marlin and the Balao. They're sitting out waiting for UPS going out the door. Awesome. Bench is getting cleared up. We'll be able to move Virginia back in here shortly. But what we're focusing on right now is our little X-Craft. So we've gone ahead and trimmed our drive shaft. We've installed our dog bone. This is so nice. This is a little nylon dog bone adapter that I drafted and had printed in high strength nylon. I think this is going to work really, really good. And then the linkage for the rudder has one of our click-ons, heavy duty click-ons. And I just made a drop mount with some stainless steel wheel collars, so that's our adjustability. So you can loosen that, adjust it, lock it down, and that should work really, really, really good. And what we're doing over here is we're just going to lock down our servo. The servo's got a little bit of wiggle in there, and we just want to clean it up a little bit. Lock it down so it doesn't move whatsoever. But this is getting really close. I'm going to dig out some weights, put some weights in the keel, and then we'll be dropping in the H2O. So look at it. This is Virginia is back on the bench. The drive shaft, I mean, it spins really nice, but I want it super loose and like really nice. And so I think what happened is this bushing is just little tick out of alignment. So what we're doing, we're heating up the drive shaft that is going to transfer to the bushing. It's going to soften up the adhesive in this mounting bulkhead, and it'll just relax into a really nice, perfect alignment. So that's the idea that we've got going on there right now. Obviously, you don't want to heat up too much because it could potentially melt its way out of that.
It's a lot freer right now, too.
Yeah. Beauteous. And what we're going to start working on here, when we have a second, oh yeah, there you go, is mounting bulkheads for the cylinder. And then mounting bulkheads for the X-Craft. All right, we got this cylinder set exactly where we want it to be sat. I can see these little wings are going to be problematic. We're going to need to cut those, grind those. And I did look, and I do have in my arsenal pre-drawn bulkheads for matching on the 3.5-inch OTW watertight cylinder. So I've got a couple things on the printer right now. We got to wait to finish. So probably by tomorrow, we'll have the bulkheads for this bad boy. So in the meantime, we might as well think about some forward dive planeage linkage stuff. Let's do that. All right, this is what we've got going on here, people. Follow along. Stainless steel shaft. You could use brass too. It doesn't matter. And it has been permanently affixed inside the port side dive plane. It doesn't matter if you do port or starboard. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. The idea, obviously, is you want to make sure that all of this is disassemblable in the future for maintenance, repairs, upgrades, whatever it is you want to do. So this shaft is part of this dive plane permanently. What I've also done is I've cut some 5/32 brass tube to act as bushings and use this shaft to create perfect alignment through here. And now what I can go ahead and do is glue these, and you'll see if you look real close, I roughed up the outside of those, so I can glue these from the inside. You want these to sit proud by just a little bit less than 1/16 of an inch, so the dive plane doesn't rub on the hull there. So dual purpose, they create spacing and they create a frictionless surface for the dive planes. Also note, there's an up and a down for these dive planes, a left and a right. You see how these are sloped outwards? You gotta make sure you get the right plane in the right spot, otherwise it'll look really, really, really weird. Now, one thing to note when doing these, when Otto supplies these files, he's got a kind of a weird oblong hole situation going on in here. I think maybe he was intending square tube, perhaps, to be utilized in there. But what I did is I used that same 5/32 brass tube, and I'm going to show you the secret sauce for mounting it in here permanently. All right, dive plane, 5/32 brass tube. Now note, I made a little groove in the tip of this. You can't see it. Can you see it? Focus, focus. There you go. You see that little groove? So we're making a cutting tool that's going to go straight in here, and it fits pretty nice. It'll guide itself perfectly along the already created hole in there. You're shaking my camera, dude. Stop touching the table. All right, you just push it in. And what you can do is cut it flush. And then you've got a 1/8 inch bore in this that will, as it would happen, be perfect for your shaft to go through. Next step, I'm shaking. It's like earthquake time. Drill and tap for a 440 stainless set screw all the way through into the bore on the bottom side. You don't want to see this, people. That's the secret sauce to being able to remove these things afterwards. So if you look at this now, we can slip this on just like that, tighten down the set screw, and that's locked the shaft in place. And we got perfect dive planes. Now, we just need to figure out how to make them move. So what I went ahead and did, pulled this out, slipped this on, put it back in, tighten it down, and now we've got tiltedness. This can get tightened down, and then that will basically create our linkage horn. Now what we need to do is connect this to this in an adjustable manner. Now the beauty of this actually is that you can adjust this kind of forward and back on the shaft, so you can actually move the shaft to get your center point. So you don't necessarily need to build in adjustability in this. So all I am really going to do is I'm going to slip this back and solder on a little 1/16 rod with a hook in it, and that'll pass right through one of these holes, and that's going to be our connection. We got a little bit of squirrel syndrome going, but at least it's all with Virginia. We moved on from the forward dive planes to hull hold downs. So the files, when they're printed, have all the holes for orientation. Now we found we did not need all of them. We just used these ones in the middle. 1/8 inch brass pins. Just drilled them, make sure they were cleaned out, press them down. These only need to stick up less than 1/4 of an inch. Not very much at all. And then we cleaned out the appropriate holes that would mate up to that on the other side. And in the front, we put a stainless pin, but you can use brass. You can use it. And it just gets glued in, you know, like that. So pin drops down. You just do a little like wiggle, and then they all fall into place. And then what that does is it maintains alignment between the upper hull and the lower hull. And then the last thing that we did is we made this little pin. This is just a bolt, and I know ours looks super fancy, but it's only because it's kind of a smaller diameter. You want one that's the same diameter threads as the hole in the top there. And all we did is, let me get this out. We just tap this for the bolt, and it just screws right in. That's it. This is nice and thick. It's ABS. It's got a lot of meat to it. Shouldn't strip out. We made this stand tall, proud, you know, so that you can use it as a thumb screw as opposed to having to use a screwdriver. But you could if you wanted to. And that's it. Hold down, complete. So now I think that may do it for today on this. We might jump back to the X-Craft here in a minute because our
silicon's tight is good, so we can probably pull that
yeah,
together.
cool. All right, yeah, and then tonight I can start printing the bulkheads for here. Last thing that Jason did, we got periscopes on the Baleo. These are looking good, and obviously completely removable for transport and storage. But they're heavy enough, they're obviously not going to fall out. I made them a little bit longer. They'd be easy to reduce in size, but what I like about this, you've got about a foot of PD, of periscopes. You have a foot of P's to stay at PD with. So when you're cruising around, you know, you want to keep your periscopes just out of the water. You got a lot of wiggle room before you breach or anything like that. I think it looks really good. A lot of height, a lot of presence. We did good today. We did good. One last thing on the X-Craft. This is a 2.4 radio. We want to keep the antenna above the surface of the water, which is about here. So we just ran the antenna out, and it's being held up like a little flagpole, like that. So it'll be above the water. You get really good receptions, and you will have a ton of fun. It is Wednesday, last work day of the week, because it is Thanksgiving week. We're going to take tomorrow and Friday off. Not that I won't be working on computer stuff, but probably not shop stuff. Got some progressives going on last night. Let's take a look at what we got happening then and what we got going on now. Let's start with Virginia, because I think we kind of left off with Virginia last night. We got parts. I drafted these years and years and years ago for a 96th Ohio that used a 3.5 OTW, and they fit perfectly. Perfectly. They're out by maybe, I don't know, a 1/16 of an inch around the perimeter. So I got the aft bulkhead glued in right now, and I was working on the forward bulkhead. The idea behind this is these bolts come out and then clamp down over the knurled nuts. So no Velcro, no elastic bands. It's all super cool and clean. I've just got to trim these little flanges inside so that this fits. And like a dummy, I didn't tack that and then glue this and then super glue everything. I super glued that, and now I need to wait to put this in. But it looks like it's going to work really, really good. That'll go in the front, and the hold downs for this will be complete. And what did you do?
I have finished installing the bulkheads for the cylinder.
Yeah, this is such a clean install. So what I did with these, I just in my drafting software, I just made a big rectangular block and dropped it in the CAD program, subtracted the cylinder and the boat from it, and you're left with a perfect fitment thing, bulkhead. That magnetic snaps in, push the dog bone forward, and that just drops in. Now all we need to do, actually what we need to do is glue a flat piece of plastic on this face to stop this from rolling. And then once we have that in place, we're just going to put a simple piece of Velcro over the top, and that will all be done. We got some more cylinder situation going on here. This is a dual tank, just like the one we got in the big Balao. This is the 80 mil, and that's the 70 mil. Cool units. We're getting them boxed up for customers. These should be going out hopefully first thing next week if we have all the parts that we needed to flesh out their packages. Neat units. So Jason's going to be doing the setup on these for those of you who elected to purchase them through my website. These were sold as part of packages, just like our old 255s were, so they're just going to go out this way and the customers can do all the work themselves. But the new ones on our site include full setup. All the servos, the electronics, speed controller, all that stuff. Jason will hook you up. Logan's got our interior of our X-Craft all painted up, looking blindingly shiny. And he's just doing the Velcro situation for the hold downs. And then this is going to be ready to go in the water. We're almost there. All right, we just hung up phone with customer. We're gonna bring this outside and do some trimming, see what it does. But before we do, I want to talk about this whole customer coordination situation. So you guys know that I offer online consultation through my website, and you can purchase time in 30-minute blocks where I can sit down and focus specifically on you. Now I know you're like, well, I bought the product from you, I want full support, and to a certain degree I can agree with you, but I want you to just consider we've probably got at any given time about 30 to 40 active customers. And about 15 to 1,800 total customers. If even a small percentage of those customers reach out on a daily or even weekly basis looking for one-on-one support, troubleshooting their boat, or just asking how to build a submarine, we're talking about hours and hours and hours and days and days and days of time just answering questions. Jason and I just had a guy, since October, sent just me, not counting Jason, over 150 individual emails expecting support because he purchased a cylinder from us. So, again, as much as we try to be forthcoming and help as much as we can, we're just people. We have this much time and this much demand. So if you can, just try and restrict your questions, or at the very least, try and be efficient with them. Make a list, and for our sake, book some consult time. Then we can sit down, go through your problems one-on-one, focusing on you, and then we get compensated for our time. We appreciate it.
I think the video consult is actually really good, because if you're trying to call us on the phone, we're trying to think in our minds what cylinder you have and what's wrong with it. If we can see it, or at least for me, if I can see it, I might be able to help you out 10 times quicker than you talking to me on the phone for 20 minutes trying to tell me what's wrong with your cylinder.
Yeah, exactly. Just today, I've probably spent over an hour troubleshooting with customers. Okay, time out of the shop. Love talking to you.
Life of an RC submariner.
Yes. All right, enough of that. Let's go throw an X-Craft in the water. Here we are out at the top secret test facility, and we're about to dunk that in there. Let's see where it floats. So I put 2 strips of duck weights in the keel, but no buoyancy other than the cylinder itself. It feels about right. Let's see if it floats. No. It is definitely heavy. Okay.
Just leave it like that. We'll go hurtling out of the water.
This is where it needs to be. We actually fully tested the X-Craft earlier on today, and I'm filming this after we finished the whole day's work and I was editing the video, and we discovered that none of the footage that we got of the X-Craft working worked. So now I'm gonna quickly throw it back in the pool, which is now completely covered with stupid leaves, and we're gonna show Robert how cool his new little boat is.
That looks really nice.
So, I don't know what you thought, but man, this thing is a blast. You know, it's got little rudders, so it doesn't have a tremendous amount of turning response, and it works best when you're at about half throttle, 3/4 throttle, because all that water's washing over the rudder. So, if you really want to steer, you gotta have your throttle in. The other thing I really like about it is just like the real boat, when it's underway, that stern drops. And that's how the real boat was as well. We did it because at really high speed, it actually catches the water and wants to dive. I got it under the water, even though there's no dive planes or anything. But I set all the endpoints for the throttle and everything to make it faster than scale. It is a lot faster than scale, but it'll be maximum fun for Robert. Hopefully he enjoys it. We're gonna put this back on the bench, get it dried out, disconnect the battery, and get her ready for the video next week. So I'd say our little X-Craft is probably done. The only thing we need to do now for Robert, we're gonna do a little overview video. We're gonna talk about some operational procedures and how to access the cylinder, charge the batteries, all of that stuff, so he'll know exactly what to do when he gets it. But we're done. It's built, it's tested. I'm going to shoot the final invoice out, and provided that gets paid, it can ship out as early as Monday or Tuesday. Fun little boat, and it was a neat little side project. I really enjoyed doing it. Next week, focusing on Virginia and testing our big Balao. I think the only other thing I forgot we got to do is run the rigging on this thing. Front and back, we'll check our reference materials and see where all of that stuff goes. But it's going to be a fun week. Thank you guys for joining us. Drop your comments down below. Shoot me an email, bob@nautilusdrydocks.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And hey, by the way, thank you everyone for your generosity. We've raised over $1,000 already for Don Meadows. I mentioned him a little earlier in the video. So in just 2 days' time, managed to raise over $1,000. This is going to end December 20th. So if you can, please head over to my website. It's right on the front there. Submariner needs your help. I'll also put the link down in the description of this video. It's Thanksgiving. It's a time to be generous. So with that,
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving from the crew at the Nautilus Dry Docks. You have a great day, and we'll catch you next time.